Thanks everybody for coming out today. It's really great to have you all here. And thank you both, Howard and Joan, for inviting me to read. So I'm showing off my new Christmas present that James gave me. It says Poem, and it's Garrison Keillor's Professional Organization of English Majors. I've always wanted one of these. I'm not going to wear it for the reading, but I just had to show that off. So I'm a hat-carrying professional English major now. At the reading series last fall, Lex Runciman was one of our readers and picked up a couple of his books, and this one is a previous book from the current one, Starting from Anywhere. And his last poem in this volume I have to read to you. A couple of things in here. A glazier is a window repair person, and came is a noun for the lead piece of glass in beaded glass and stained glass. I didn't know that. I had to look that up. So anyway, it's 2 days after Christmas. This poem is, immediately after Christmas, the mood lightened in Manor Road. Aunt Lillian's hives subsided, and the dog's catarrh resolved with a packet of beef gristle expelled as we listened to the symphony. Blocked for a fortnight by snow, the glazier's van arrived at last to replace the makeshift cashmere window plug required after the crow flew through lead cane and glass and fell dead on an open page of the Oxford English Dictionary C volume, its black neck broken. After multiple gin fizzes, Mother has arrayed herself in silks and George's Stetson. She dances to Muddy Waters, with Father in his bear costume, complete with growling. Uncle Winslow burnt the tree in a roar, a wonder the chimney survived. And the several second cousins have formed fruitcake into balls they now roll for 10 pins in the hall. Outside, we're delighted how bells peal and the human voice carries over snow. Walter calls. Edna sends her best regards, as do Maud and Frank. I wept a little this morning, thinking of poverty, illness, the numberless orphans. Thank God, no more talk of presents. Winter sunlight, winter dark. These are the best, don't you think? Must go, with all our love, or this shall miss the post. Though I know there is always something more, something important I have forgot. So we'll just be reading new poems today, mostly from the last year or so. With the holidays come lots of pies and goodies. And another gift that James gave me at last year's Christmas was this pie bird, which is a little ceramic bird you place in the pie to vent the steam. And I'd never seen one before, but he, and amongst some other pie-making tools, got me baking pies. And then this poem, so Pie Bird. White porcelain sheen, wingless and hollow, my love's gift I give, nestled in pear and apple, to breathe heat, sweet tendrils of steam, our kisses in air. His cinnamoned fingers I taste in my mouth, then sing. So the next few poems are written this past fall, and I work in an office, and so that setting comes up in these. This one is called November, and even though the shortest day of the year just was last week, whenever November hits, it just seems dark all the time, darker than December even. Night in the evening as I leave the office, night in the morning as I return. What is day but a few gray hours serving emails up like coffee, girl in a fluorescent fishbowl, shoulders hunched over dirty white keys. Night again, and I finally pull the blinds. Night drips from the eaves into gutters I haven't cleaned, past leaves once golden, once scarlet, seeps through seams in the siding and slides easy into my chair, purrs there before I get home. This shadow, this November familiar. Night slips in as I turn the key. I sit, and night curls beside me. I nap, exhausted, eyes dry as ashtrays, afterburn of the day's blue computer gaze, flickering in what passes for dreams. November night stirs and settles, familiar warmth, familiar dark relief. A lot of my work involves event planning and planning legal seminars. And so that's what comes up here, and a sense of the frustration on several levels. Several levels. There's a line in here that I, stealing from Shakespeare's Sonnet 65, the line, "Beauty where action is no stronger than a flower." That'll come up. Strange apology. Language at a crossroads, answering emails all day. Words regarding the upcoming legal seminar for practitioners across the spectrum of care in the juvenile court community. Thousands of words exchanged, no comfort to the kids removed from drug-addicted parents, no comfort to parents losing their kids. Words idling near the corner of compassion and can't care anymore. Words bottlenecked in emails with IT departments demanding right-of-way. Words with convention services managers about the number, arrangement, and paddedness of chairs. About trays of antipasto, Swedish meatballs, did we get the allotted discount? And Oregon's autumn abundance skewers, so participants can network with other practitioners after a day discussing commercial sexual exploitation of children and implicit bias in the court, and prepare for the next day's "Where do we go from here?" featuring the distinguished appellate jurist, retired. To that burning question, I will not hear the answer, but I will email the PowerPoint by the end of next week. And underneath it all, an absence, a silence. Child of wonder, done wrong, be strong, stronger than a flower. Boy of aggression, listen to the wind behind the traffic. If I saw you on my brief walk today and turned away, I'm sorry. And you don't need my strange apology, and I don't know why I offer it, except the rest of my words are hidden from me, and the passing traffic won't let me idle here any longer. As Kelly referred to, we were in a workshop together this fall, Max and certainly when the shooting at Umpqua Community College happened, we were, I think that week we were writing poems in extremity. After the shooting. Ubiquitous as bake sales, if we still had bake sales. I hear cupcakes are going for pennies these days. Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, something for every member of the family. Step right up, cupcake. Gun sellers ought to be shot. Where's the amendment declaring enough? When I think about what happened, when I think about how she suffered, what does it matter what? What does it matter who? Say it happened to you, your son's life, a number, your town on a list, your church, another church. I offer this poem to any bake sale in America. Give it a background check, give it therapy. Where's the amendment declaring we care? I've been reading about New Orleans 10 years ago, when bodies bloated floating for days, when snipers took aim and shot at anyone, how rescue fought abandon and barely survived. Oh, but listen. Geese have begun to gather in the year's bluest skies. College football has returned. Colossal pumpkins crowd the grocery store sidewalks, and college football has returned. Only a cynic would fail to find happiness in the smallest of gestures. The door held for a woman and her walker, certainly, but the door held for your own patience. Patience, a true wren of love. When I think about what happened to her, them, us, and the guns gathering around us like storm surge, like cupcakes, what rises in me is not patience. What rises in me does not sing. What rises in me would pull the trigger, releasing the blood tide in each of us, forgetting the love, the sweet cream. Wait, please, will you hold the door for me? Okay. And this too is a poem responding to the conversation that America's having around racism and color and privilege, and the lines are all 6 words, and it's a poem in couplets primarily. The first line of each couplet is in italics, and it's a line written from the Race Card Project. If anybody's heard of the Race Card Project, they're 6-word essays about color and privilege. So I took those lines and then wrote a 6-word line in response, and so that's what this poem is. And the title is also what someone else wrote on the Race Card Project. Don't shoot, I'll change the world. Lady, I don't want your purse. My fear of men is colorblind. Scared to death for my son. This woman's fear I can't touch. Privilege is not knowing your privilege. I get to forget my color. Outside, a shopping cart rattles by. I feel watched in the store. I can choose to be invisible. I have never felt so invisible. How often do I look away? Under bridges, the sleeping bags shiver. Not racist, not privileged, just white. Eyes closed, ears shut, mouth open. No hope or faith left now. Cops on the loose every day. You have a home? I don't. One moccasin, one boot, fit nowhere. Let's dance. I want to understand. Okay, totally in another direction. So, I think you'll notice the pattern in this poem. Unfazed at the Without Cafe. Untethered and unsaved, unsteady and undone, unanswered and unheard, unmoored and wanting more, unhinged and unveiled, unedited and uncut, uncensored and unpacked, uncorked and unstrung, untapped. Unorthodox and unusual, unencumbered and unflappable, unimpeachable and unabashed, unsurpassed. Unless and until unforgivable, unforgettable. Undaunted and unconcerned, unswerving and undeterred, untamable and unscathed, unmasked and unafraid. So the next 2 poems are animals. I like to write about animals sometimes. And this one was generated just from a photograph called 2 Elephants. Today, somewhere in the American South, a truck slid off the road, tipping, precarious, the ground too soft, unable to hold the truck's weight. 2 elephants were also stopped in traffic and pressed into service. The article said they were on their way to Dallas, but not why. The photograph showed them leaning their broad heads against the truck's side to keep it from toppling into the mud. Imagine 2 elephants, juveniles from the look of them, pressing their foreheads into a truck. I have known dogs who lean like that into someone they love. A blind one into its own seeing eye dog at the other end of the leash. My own dog, a rescue, leaning his forehead into me in what I could only perceive as love. Not thanks, but love. I'm not saying the elephants loved the goddamn truck. I'm saying what I saw. 2 elephants lending their bodies for us. And so this one, walking along on the bike path not very long ago, and there was a crawfish. You have to write a poem about a crawfish on the bike path. So a crawfish on the bike path. I have crawled through muck, grass, trash, and dog shit to reach your cement journey, your skateboarders on steroids, your stroller joggers, your bicycle ninjas, only to find you staring at your gods on a screen. I feel their rays like filament line ensnaring me in death traps in your dirty river backwash. I have come prostrate before you through no direct ambition of my own. Our few day-lit hours filled with your cigarette exhale. Oh, the humanity! I wave my claws beneath your god's devious bait. Please, watch out. I've had that crawfish's voice in my head now for a few weeks.
What'd you do with it?
Oh, I walked on by. I was just staring at it, but I let it be. And then when I returned, it wasn't there any longer, so it was just visitation. Okay, so the next 2 poems are different looks at nature and various forces of nature and their impact on humans. And this one has to do with tornadoes and storm chasing. I have this fascination for tornadoes, and I think someday I'd either chase them or in another life I'd chase them if it doesn't happen. So this is called Sirens in Green Sky. My odyssey chasing you. My wife prays hard each time for my return, will hardly look at me when I do. Boil of energy dark with dust, vortex of thrust and whirl, when cloud and wind meet ground, raised fist throwing stones, cars and cattle hurled like javelins into the wailing, the crackling air. Oh, furious dervish, filling your skirts with our timbers, our swing sets, our photos matted and framed, now spat into fields of ruined grain, our homes now sticks, our neighbors now saints. No wonder the sirens wail. You're laser sharp, a mile wide, an enemy tank with gale force winds. I'm bound for you in the half-light over washed out roads, leaving my home and family to your twisted mercy. I stand for ballast in mud-filled ditches, an acolyte zooming the lens, glasses ripped from my head as you pull yourself into the sky and disappear, leaving me here in utter silence, my roaring heart. And this one is about the goddess of volcanoes, Pele, and Kilauea, the volcano in Hawaii where she is thought to live, and how last year another eruption, a breakout of lava, was flowing down and threatening homes and burning structures. And so this is called her digging stick, which in the Hawaiian mythology refers to how she stirs her lava. Her digging stick, vented steam from Earth's crust mixes with rain. Sulfur dioxide poisons the fog. Down slope, Another breakout. Pele stirs her digging stick and burns among the graves. Inside, grief. Inside, fury. Nothing new. This voracious burial, this volcanic making and unmaking. Homes burned and the paving over, the dead looking on as the living, in our helplessness, sort what we can't save. Just 6 more. I'm kidding. This is the last poem. Seriously? I'm not going to start over. So last spring, I had the joy of a retreat. And this was at the Shot Pouch Cabin at Spring Creek outside of Corvallis and through the Spring Creek organization. And so this poem came from that experience called A Practice of Solitude. Quiet, at rest, birdsong the only punctuation, a butterfly's touch, full stop. Nowhere to hide, no blocks of time, no borders, no carved invention for shelter or excuse. Anger, layer upon layer, sheds in retreat. When B returns, welcome him. When father returns, forgive him. When mother returns, recognize the shadow in your language. One butterfly, white, after another, blue, attracts your gaze outward. Sky of blue fire. Birdsong hush to owl in this eternity of now. Oh, the white, white now. Thank you.